Five Play Fridays coming at you right now. Stick around. Hello again, it's Greg with thebetterofficial.com. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating careers. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe below the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our new content, which during the basketball season is 2 times a week. I want to say thank you for the support we've received in terms of getting our subscription count up towards our audacious goal for the season. If you haven't already done so, hit subscribe. Thank you to everyone who bought us a cup of coffee this week and in the past. Much love and much appreciated. You can buy us a coffee at abetterofficial.com/coffee. All right, this is an early season showcase environment. Top teams from around Northern California participating in this showcase event. Lots of media, lots of high-powered teams with lots of good players, as well as scouts from collegiate programs, etc. Everybody's here to look at the players and get the season started with this showcase event. Now, I was fortunate enough to be one of the officials on one of the games. One of the main functions of this channel is, if this is an objective of yours as a basketball official, to be on the big game, the game that's broadcast, the game that has attention, we want to get you on the court. Our goal here is to get you into position where you are the crew chief on one of these games. But our approach going into the game was, look, this is a showcase game with quality teams, quality coaches, quality players. In a showcase environment, let's take a step back and not intrude on the game. Let's be consistent, keep the game safe, fair, and allow the teams to compete. Today, we're just going to look at a few plays from the game itself. Stick around to the end for play number 5, which will be a block charge play that you can make the call. Let's look at plays. A couple things on this play. Working as center, we have to stay with shooters. Up, down, and a little bit more. And if we end up with a player on the floor, we just need to know the answer of how they got there. So I've got hip-to-hip contact here, but let's also look at the lead. So we have post action on the opposite side, and he's going to rotate. You can see how we're getting out of position as a crew. Trails not picking up the rotation. Nobody's necessarily officiating this action right here. Just recognize behavior as lead in this situation. If you're looking across, that's a clue. Ball's in the center of the floor. Lead. Right here, we should be moving to a closed down position, right? Because the ball is going to the left side of the floor. Who's officiating this play, right? Who's got the best look? Lead has not completed a rotation. The center still has responsibility for this play. If you're lead and you are looking at this play, so we have 2 officials both looking at this play here, who's officiating the other 6 players really here who are potentially going to be engaged and potentially holding, clamping, displacing in anticipation of a rebound. When you check your game video as lead, if you find yourself officiating across the lane when you're not yet rotated, that's a good clue. We need to stay focused on our primary coverage area during a rotation. This is just a discussion of working as center. So when we're officiating as center, we want to be ball aware and officiating the players in our primary. In this instance, we have a matchup leaving our primary going towards the ball. What would we expect to have happen here? Possible trap. Yes, 2 defenders. We could get a trap. And if that's the case, we need to get on top of this play. But the trap doesn't appear. Okay? This on-ball matchup, which is going towards the trail, will be for the trail to officiate. We have to officiate this cutter. We would expect them to maybe head down to the baseline, over to the other side to receive a shot, pass for a 3-point shot. They need to be allowed to move freely. But instead, they fake that and come back up, right? So we need to be, this is our play as center. We've got a matchup here. There's not much going on. And everything settles. Now we have an on-ball matchup in our primary. This play belongs to the center. Trail should be following this player cutting off ball. Right? We're stepping up. Do we expect a rotation? Yes, we expect a rotation, but what we need to do is get an open look on the play, right? We're aware of screening action coming, okay? Also, watch the additional defender here as he shoves this player slightly, right? We want to be just aware of that, possibly pushing him into the other defender, looking for trying to get a whistle in their favor. So we have an open look on the play. We still would have expected a rotation in this situation, but in the absence of it, we can live with that. Ball goes away, right? We need to stay, just finish up with this action. This is a player coming out of our primary, a defender coming out of our primary. We need to be aware of those. And then engage for rebounding action. And then help your partner out. One thing we said several times during this early season matchup is it's preseason for everybody. We're all shaking off rust. You just have to recognize that fact and go with the flow. And keep it light for your crew. It's not life or death out there. We want to do a great job, and everything's important, but we can have fun as well. Okay, timeout administration. So in California, we have shot clocks. The shot clock's getting very low in this situation. Just in general, when teams are in a moment of distress, meaning they have the ball in the backcourt and they know that the 10-second count is getting close to 10, when a player is trapped with a double team, let's say, when a player is on the floor holding the ball, in all these situations, what do we expect that the team may do? The head coach may call a timeout, right, to save a possession, etc. If we can, as officials, always recognize properly requested timeouts, again, we elevate. We're doing better by the game. Everybody feels that it was fair, right? It's important when the official grants the timeout here, being very specific. What's the language I will use? Holding the ball, dribbling the ball right there. There is some subsequent action. Sometimes the ball can be taken away. Right here, we're granting a timeout. This player is holding the basketball. This will be our throw-in spot. We want to be super clear to everybody involved so there's no confusion. That's our throw-in spot. What do you want? They want to know where the ball coming in. They have to set up their play. They're going to run a play. They have 4 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to run their play. They need to know specifically. We don't want to provide any erroneous information in this setting. Assistant coach has a question. Hold on, partner. Hold on. We got some work to do here. Inform the other coach specifically. It's a 30-second timeout. be super clear, then report and start. Now we can go back, we could address a question that the assistant coach may have briefly. Okay, just a simple mechanics point. Again, it's preseason for everybody, but we need to be rock solid with our mechanics. If we are comfortable with the accuracy of our floor mechanics, where we go on the floor, etc., who has the resulting throw on, then we can focus on officiating the game and we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. This is not a big deal, but what do we have? We have a front court throw-in on the center's side of the floor. Who administers the throw-in? The old center, and they become the new trail, right? We slide over, old trail becomes new lead, ball side, and old trail becomes center. At the end of basketball games, we need to be at our absolute best. That's when all of our training comes to bear. We want to be strong. We want to be solid. The things that we do in the final minutes of a game are much more memorable to the participants and much more picked apart. If there's a clock error in the first period, nobody remembers that. There's time on the clock that needs to be put back when there's 8 seconds left in a game. That's super, super important. And we need to be trained as a crew to be clock aware in the final moments of ball games. Does the clock start properly? Does the clock stop properly? And if we can get things more correct, that's a feather in our cap. The game appreciates that. So let's watch this sequence. So we've got black down 4 with 25 seconds remaining. Made basket, an immediate timeout request. Stopping the clock here is the most important thing. We have a mark. Ball goes in. Coach requests a timeout. Don't waste time signaling the scored goal. Grant the timeout. Trail is occupied here. He's got a three-point shooter that he's protecting. He's got a coach requesting a timeout which he grants. Your off-ball officials need to have a number. They hear a whistle. They should be looking at the clock. And if the simple act of doing this in your game, in end-of-game situations or end-of-quarter situations, is being super clock aware, then you're poised and ready to contribute and add value when it really matters. So let's take a look. Ball goes in the basket. So the timeout has not been granted yet. The whistle is going to be on the point by the official. 6.9, 6.7, all would have been great numbers. When I was working as trail, I had 6.4 by the time I looked up after all of this. I went to my crew. I said, who's got a number? They did not have a number. So we'll go with my 6.4. We'll put 0.4 on the clock. What do we exhibit? An absolute desire as a crew to get the play right. Team in black knows we're working to get things right, keeping it fair. Something I noticed working with younger officials is that maybe they're a little further behind in clock awareness. All I could say is at the end of the games, if you can be clock aware and clock accurate, the respect for you by the stakeholders in the game goes up. Last week's You Make the Call turned out as hoped. 94% of respondents considered this an upgrade to flagrant foul, with 5% going intentional. All right, here's our You Make the Call play. Block charge play, called by the lead. This is a super close play. Understand why it's super close. And you make the call. Most important on these plays, and what we'd want to take away from this clip, calling official takes time to process, shows strength at the spot, shows strength when reporting. Remember that the game wants officials to be strong and confident. It makes all the stakeholders feel more at ease if we show strength and confidence in our calls and are approachable and can communicate what our calls are and why. Be decisive and be strong, and you make the call. We'll let you know the results next week. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Much appreciated. Again, subscribe below. Help us hit our goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. There's video content here to continue your journey to being a better basketball official. See you in the next video. Take care.